Hey everybody, how's it going? This is John Breeden. It is March 18th, 2019. California Speedway is in the books. The race weekend, Xfinity on Saturday, Cup on Sunday. I have the recaps of both those races, a history-making Cup race yesterday. First off, though, I want to start today's show by talking about group qualifying, or simply just Cup qualifying on Friday, because this spilled a lot of controversy. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of recap. In case you didn't see this, I'm going to go ahead and basically explain what happened. So it's no secret that this new package, getting in a draft or drafting with other cars, that's what you want to do in qualifying. You go faster, you get a better time, especially at a big racetrack like California Speedway. So, the second round of qualifying, it's usually 10 minutes. And the second round, all 24 cars, actually with one exception, Kurt Busch made a lap by himself, but everybody else just sat on pit road and waited and waited and waited. And they were waiting because they did not want to get out on the track and make a single car run. They wanted to wait until everybody else went so they could be in the draft and put down a fast lap time. So they're waiting and they're waiting and they're waiting until that clock gets down to, I'd say, about a minute 10 seconds. And then everybody starts to roll. All these 23 cars. It's a huge traffic jam. It looks ridiculous. It looks like cars getting off, getting out of a drive-through and getting back up on the interstate. It just looked ridiculous. And they all make it to the line. Now, of course, the NASCAR rule is, during qualifying, if you're out there on the track and you want to make a lap before qualifying ends, you have to cross the start-finish line before the clock hits zero. If clock hits zero and you don't make it to the start-finish line, your lap doesn't count. Luckily, everybody here made it. And they would go to the second round, or the final round. The top 12 would, of course, advance. Austin Dillon was the fastest in that round. So the top 12 would advance. So we have 5 minutes. We have 5 minutes to determine who starts on the pole. And this time, once again, everybody, all 12 cars, just sitting on pit road for 5 straight minutes. And with about, I'd say, 40 seconds to go, they get going up on the track. I thought, oh my gosh, are they all going to miss? What happens if they all miss their lap? What's going to happen? And I was like, I'm sitting there thinking, like, for sure that's not going to happen. Like, I'm sure when they hit the backstretch, I'm like, okay, not everybody's going to make it. I'm sure a few cars will make it, though. But no, they work off turn 4, and you hear NASCAR control up in the booth go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's the end of qualifying. And no one was even close. Nobody made a lap. Nobody's lap counted. Qualifying was over. They had to revert back to the order from the second round of qualifying. So Austin Dillon got the pole by default. So I shouldn't say by default. He got it by second round of qualifying. But so, yeah, and everybody was outraged about this. I saw so many fans mad about this, but am I the only one that sees the comedy in this? Like, this was hilarious. I mean, I understand why people are mad, okay? Like, yes, I see where people see, you know what, that sucked. But, like, it was a comedy act. It was so bizarre. And the way NASCAR was talking this week, you'll never see that again. But, man, I mean, look, I can't blame the drivers there. You know what I mean? That's the aero package that was given to them. They were given a 5-minute clock. They were told, you have to make a lap before this 5 minutes. They didn't say when. So, I can't blame the drivers here. What I was mad about, I wasn't even really mad about this. You should just go back and watch it. I'm sure it's on YouTube. Actually, you can find the full qualifying is actually on NASCAR's YouTube page, but you can skip towards the end. But I'm sure they have like a short clip of it. But you should just watch it for the comedy of it. But it's just, I literally could not believe my eyes when none of the cars made it to the line. But what made me most mad about this was Saturday when NASCAR sent out a statement. And I don't have the exact quote of what it was, but they basically said they were disappointed that the drivers made a mockery of the qualifying format. And they said it's a little bit on us, so we will make some changes to give the fans a show. I was so mad when I read that, because here's the thing. I don't know if people are blaming the drivers. I don't think they are. I see a lot of people blaming the sport. But you, NASCAR, gave them 5 minutes. You gave them that aero package. You gave them a 5-minute clock and said, make a lap whenever you want. There's no, oh, you have to get on the track at this point, blah, blah, blah. You can't sit on pit road. Nothing like that. So, look, it's the driver's fault for misjudging and not getting to the line in time. Yes, that is their fault. But you can't blame them for trying to do that. That's strategy. That is an element of strategy that you added with these new rules. They're not new. I mean, group qualifying is, and that's another thing. People are, oh my God, get rid of group qualifying. We need to go back to single car qualifying. Listen, do you know that now this is the 6th year that group qualifying is in effect? I haven't heard a word about people being, oh man, we should go back to single car qualifying. Until this weekend. Something bad happened, and now they just want rid of it. Look, I was all for group qualifying when it started, because it's, and here's the thing, I don't even want to see a show. I know that NASCAR does it because we want to give the fans a show. But, like, I wasn't even for that. It's just a group qualifying. It's short and sweet. It's an hour long. I mean, single car qualifying, you're doing 40 cars running, 2 laps, sometimes 1, depending on the track, but it's like, that takes forever. It takes like 2.5 hours. I watch qualifying more now than I used to when they did single car qualifying, because it's shorter. So I don't mind that at all. That's why I like the group qualifying. But look, I mean, if people have always liked the single car qualifying and they think, oh, it's tradition, then okay, I can understand that. But some of these people are just complaining because this happened and they thought, oh my God, we got to get rid of it. This sucks. It's like, well, dude, like, this is something you don't see very often. So I wouldn't be too concerned about it. But look, like I said, it's the problem is NASCAR not taking responsibility. They said it's a little bit on us. No. It's your rules. It's your rule package. It's all on you. You can't blame the drivers. They're doing what they're supposed to do. Like, they're trying to win. They're trying to get the pole. So it's like, they had to do that. In their minds, they had to do that. Look, and I'll tell you why. Kurt Busch, like I mentioned, second round of qualifying. Kurt Busch was the only car that went out by himself. All the other 23 cars sat on pit road. So he made a lap, right? So before all the other cars got out there, he was on the pole. You know where he ended up after everybody else made their lap? He was 21st. He was 21st. That's how big of a difference that draft is. And Kurt Busch had a good car. He was sixth yesterday. So he had a fast car. It wasn't because he was slow. It was because he wasn't in the draft. So you cannot blame the drivers for this. This is on NASCAR. This is NASCAR's rules. And they said they're going to make a change, so that's fine. They should have just said that. They should have said, look, it's all on us. We take responsibility for this, and we're going to make a change. That's what they should have said. But, look, they're going to make a change. My guess is they're going to do some sort of rule where if you don't make a lap, you go to the back of the field, and that'll get the drivers on edge, and they won't sit there and wait, or you can't block you can't block pit road. I'm sure they're going to do that too, because there was controversy about that. They weren't even sitting in their pit box. They were just sitting on the edge of pit road. So some of the guys were just boxed in and couldn't even get out on the track if they wanted to. But what else? Yeah, they may have okay, it's 5 minutes, but you have to be on the track in 2 minutes or something like that. I don't know. Something like that, but we'll see. Hey, okay, enough about qualifying. And that's another thing. It's we're talking about qualifying. I mean, I know qualifying's important, but it's where's Allen Iverson? We're talking about practice. We're talking about qualifying, not the race. Anyway. All right, so let me get in this Xfinity race here. This was the Production Alliance Group 300. The stages were 35, 35, 80, so 150 laps. Front row for this race was Tyler Reddick and Kyle Busch. So they start. Kyle Busch takes the lead from Tyler Reddick on the opening lap. He leads lap 1. Reddick, though, would make a comeback and take the lead back at lap 2. And Tyler Reddick would pull away a little bit from Kyle. But Kyle would make a comeback and regain the lead on lap 13. So Tyler Reddick would lead 10 laps over Kyle Busch. But Kyle would take the lead, as mentioned, and he would cruise away to the Stage 1 win. No cautions this stage. Not much happened. In the top 10 was Kyle Busch, Tyler Reddick, Cole Custer, Justin Allgaier, William Byron, Noah Gragson, the top 5. In the number 9 car. Michael Annett, Austin Cindric, Ryan Preece. We have Christopher Bell and Ryan Sieg. That was the top 10. So yeah, like I said, not too much happened in the stage. Kyle, as expected, pretty much pulled away from the field. But hey, Tyler Reddick, he put up a good fight. Just couldn't hang with him, but he did lead 10 laps, which is actually surprising because I figured, well, Kyle took lead at lap 1. I'm like, well, here we go. But no, Tyler Reddick came back. He showed some strength. So, yeah. Only 16 cars on the lead lap at this point. And Kyle Busch was off pit road first to start the second stage. So, stage 2 starts. Kyle Busch clears for the lead on the restart. It was Reddick in second, Noah Gragson third. Noah Gragson was running really good until 9 to go in stage 2. He would come to pit road after a flat right front tire. Tough break for Gragson. He was really having a good run going. Still no cautions here. Kyle Busch was just dominant in stage 2. He pulled away. I don't exactly remember how far he was in the lead, but I assume it was 3 or 4 seconds. The top 10 this stage was Kyle Busch, Tyler Reddick, Justin Allgaier, Cole Custer, Brandon Jones, the top 5. Then we have Christopher Bell, Ryan Preece, Austin Cindric, Michael Annett, and Chase Briscoe. Busch led every lap in this stage, and he had led all but 10 laps, which was, of course, led by Tyler Reddick. He led all but 10 laps in the race at this point. And actually, I mentioned when Noah Gragson got in the wall, 3 of the 4 Junior Motorsport cars made contact with the wall in this stage. Justin Allgaier got in the wall a little bit. Ryan Preece got in the wall, but luckily Allgaier and Preece did not have flat tires. Gragson would get the free pass under the stage caution, so he would recover quickly from that flat tire. And yeah, if you actually look at the first 2 stages, I said on Wednesday, I thought Kyle Busch was going to win. I thought Tyler Reddick was going to be second. And right here, both stages, it is Kyle Busch first, Tyler Reddick second. But As we know, that would change by the end of the race. Kyle Busch was off pit road first. Christopher Bell was second, but Bell had to come back down pit road with throttle sticking issues. Very interesting. You don't usually hear that nowadays. That used to be a thing years ago. It's actually killed a few drivers when their throttle would stick and they would go into the wall. I believe that's what killed Adam Petty back in 2000. But that's when they installed that kill switch. So then if somebody's throttle would stick, you could hit that kill switch and you wouldn't go so violently into the wall. But yeah, Bell had to come back down. So the final stage starts 80 laps, or I think take a few because pace laps. But Kyle Busch easily clears for the lead on the restart. Reddick was second. Then we would have our first incident of this race, John Hunter Nemechek. He would cut down in front of Ryan Sieg, trying to battle for position. He would crash hard into the inside wall. It was a very hard hit on the front straightaway. This was at lap 84. And yeah, like I mentioned, first caution for an incident. Austin Cindric was around this battle, and he was so mad at John Hunter Nemechek for dumb driving or aggressive driving. I'm like, you're one to talk. But anyway, Kyle Busch was first off pit road under this caution, but Noah Gragson stayed out. And Busch would regain the lead on the restart, 61 to go. But Cole Custer would take the lead on the same lap right after the restart, before Kyle could even lead a lap. And after a few tries, Busch would stay with Custer, and he would take the lead back with 57 laps to go. They would go to commercial. Tyler Reddick made a pit stop during this commercial after contact with the wall, so that would end his good run for the time being. And this was somewhere between 44 and 40 to go because, like I said, it was during commercial. And also, they came back under caution because Austin Cindric spun between turn 3 and 4 to bring out the caution with 39 to go. Now, we get into this. I guess this was the last pit stop of the race. Let me see. Yes, this was the last stop of the race. So, last stop, 3 penalties, uncontrolled tire, only 2 penalties, uncontrolled tire for Noah Gragson and Kyle Busch. The dominant car of the race, the winner of the first 2 stages, Kyle Busch, uncontrolled tire, going for his 200th win across all 3 series. This would ultimately cost him the win. So Christopher Bell would now be up front, and Cole Custer would be on his outside with 33 to go. Christopher Bell would clear for the lead. Cole Custer would then go to the lead, pass him with 31 to go. Kyle Busch would rally back into the top 10 with 29 laps to go. Then with 27 to go, we get another caution. Our third incident, Ryan Preece and Brandon Jones spin out through 3 and 4. It was a near miss because Jones spun out, came down the racetrack. Preece was trying to avoid. He spun, but nearly collided with Brandon Jones. It was almost a bad wreck. Bell was off pit road. That was not... The Kyle Busch uncontrolled tire was not the last stop. Christopher Bell would come off pit road first, but Michael Annett and Noah Gragson would stay out. They would restart. Christopher Bell gets back the lead with 20 laps to go. But Custer would get to his inside and clear him off turn 2 the next lap for the lead with 19 laps to go. Cole Custer to the lead. Kyle Busch would get to second late in the going. I think it was like 13 to go. He passed Bell. Trying to make a late race run, but surprisingly, it was not enough. I don't know what happened. I guess Kyle's car got back there in the traffic and wasn't as good, and he could not Pulled off. Cole Custer would keep Kyle Busch back by 2.5 seconds to win at his home track, a hometown native. The crowd cheered, they roared as Custer took the checkered flag. It was an awesome moment for Custer, his third career Xfinity win, first of 2019, and the third Xfinity regular to win in 2019. I thought the first two stages of the race were kind of just there. Nothing was really happening. Just kind of your normal, everyday Xfinity race. And the final stage I thought was pretty good. There's some good restarts, good heightened drama with Kyle coming back up through the field. And an Xfinity regular won. And like I said, it was in his home state, which was pretty cool. I thought it was awesome how, the crowd was just coming unglued when he took the checkered flag. So I thought that was awesome. I thought it was pretty good. And yeah, Xfinity race at California for me gets a thumbs up. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the race results here. Cole Custer, of course, won the race. This is your top 10. Cole Custer, Kyle Busch, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, recovering from getting into the wall. He would have finished 4th. Chase Briscoe, good top 5. Austin Cindric, 6th. Brandon Jones, another good run, top 10, 7th. Ryan Preece, 8th. We had Justin Allgaier, 9th. Justin Haley, 10th. Ryan Sieg is 11th through 20th. 11th through 20th, Ryan Sieg. Noah Gragson. Hey, Noah Gragson finished 12th, but he had problems in that race. Had that flat tire, but they showed some speed to Saturday, so a good performance by Gragson, in my opinion. Let's see, Michael Annett, 13th. Jeremy Clements, 14th. Brandon Brown, a good run, in 15th. 16th through 20th, we have Greg Golden, Ray Black Jr., Ross Chastain, 18th. I saw this because I forgot to mention, I did not watch this race live. I actually recorded it. I had stuff to do, so I watched it that night, and I was checking the leaderboard as the race was going on, because I wasn't home, and I saw Ross Chastain like 2 or 3 laps down. I'm like, something happened to him, because usually he runs good at these big tracks, but no. Very surprised to see Ross back there, but I guess it was just perhaps a bad day, but Ross Chastain was 18th, Garrett Smithley 19th, Tommy Joe Martin's 20th. 21st through 30th, we have David Starr, Stephen Light, Matt Mills, BJ McLeod, Vinnie Miller, Mike Harmon, Joey Gase. We have John Hunter Nemechek, of course, wrecked out, Josh Bilicki, and John Jackson. And then rounding out the field, 31st through 37th, we have Morgan Shepherd, Chad Fincham, Josh Williams, Timmy Hill, Bailey Curry, Jeff Green, and Cesar Baccarella. That is your Xfinity race. Now, time to get into the Cup race, which I saw a lot of people hated this race. Like, a lot of people just thought it was boring. A lot of people were like, oh my God, get rid of this package. I thought the race was okay. I did not think... I guess if you're ranking the 5 races this year, I would say it was probably the worst, but I thought it was okay. I didn't think there was anything particularly wrong with it. It kind of dragged in the middle a little bit. I thought the beginning was pretty good, and yeah, right there in the middle, I think, is what got people. It was just kind of nothing happening a little bit, but there was good racing near the end with Keselowski, Logano, and Kyle Busch, and Kyle Busch came back from a penalty to win, so yeah, I thought he was okay. I didn't think it was... I wouldn't say it was a good race, but I thought it was all right. So, anyway. Front row. Austin Dillon. Cole Custer was actually on standby for Austin Dillon. He had not been feeling well throughout the weekend, so there was talk that he may get out of the car, but he did not. Kevin Harvick was on the outside. They did a 5-wide pace lap. I think it was just like a fan appreciation day, I guess, at California Speedway. It was very, very cool seeing 5 wide throughout the entire field. This first lap was crazy. It looked like Talladega. Denny Hamlin would go from 6th to 1st on lap 1 to lead after going 3 wide to the bottom going into turn 3. Just crazy first lap. I don't even see how he got past 4th and 5th place, but man, it was crazy. Hamlin would then fade, though. Almirola would get drafting help from Stenhouse Jr. to go to the lead at lap 4. Good battles for position early on. And Kyle Busch would go to the lead at lap 14 just after a commercial break. They had green flag stops, cycles back to Kyle Busch, leading with 26 to go in stage 1. New tires made a huge difference, as Fox showed. They did that, like that 3D simulator thing, and they were showing William Byron, who stayed out for a few laps under green, and then they showed Denny Hamlin on fresher tires, and basically they just showed how much faster he was, and Hamlin was going way faster than William Byron, but yeah, huge new tires made a huge difference throughout this race. Austin Dillon, pole sitter, has a flat right rear. He would bring out the caution with 5 to go in the stage. Denny Hamlin would stay out under caution from 2nd place, and so does Stenhouse Jr. and Clint Bowyer. The rest pit. Kyle Busch comes off pit road first. This restart, it was 1 to go in the stage. Kyle Busch on his fresher tires, as I mentioned, a huge difference. Stormed away from Hamlin into turn 1. They'd work off turn 2. Stenhouse Jr. would spin in turn 2 to end stage 1. And right here, somehow Stenhouse did not get any damage, but everybody was checking up from Stenhouse, and Truex Jr. would actually end up with some right rear fender damage after trying to check up and avoid Stenhouse. I think he was running like the middle of the track, and Larson was to his outside. He made some contact with Larson. I believe that's what happened. But yeah, and Truex was coming up through the field. He started I think he started 27th, and he was in the top 10, like right from the get-go. He was like 6th place. He had a very fast car. But yeah, would not go as planned for Truex Jr. Top 10, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Daniel Suarez, Eric Almirola, Eric Jones, Jimmy Johnson, Ryan Blaney, Daniel Hemrick. That was the top 10 of the stage. Crazy racing early on. Kyle Busch, though, kind of set the pace when he got out front. Things calmed down a bit. And I guess that's why people were mad, but it kind of settled out, and Kyle Busch was leading. But last lap of the stage was a mess, and like I said, it could have been a huge wreck. Stenhouse spun out right in front of the field. I don't know how he didn't collect other cars. But like I said, fresh tires makes all the difference. So, stage 2 here. Joey Logano would take the lead from Kyle Busch on lap 70. And then Kyle Busch, though, would fight back, and 2 laps later, lap 72, he would take the lead back. Daniel Hemrick, another Childress car, having a right rear tire down at lap 15 of the stage. But there would be no caution for this one. Green flag stops would cycle through with 27 to go in the stage. Busch would actually stay in the lead. He was like the last car to pit, so he was still able to keep his lead. Bubba Wallace got penalized for too fast exiting on this round of stops. Kyle Busch dominant through 2 stages, despite having Ryan Newman block him while running 1 lap down. So, if you didn't see this, they were coming to the last lap in the stage. Ryan Newman is like 22nd and 1 lap down. He's about to go 2 laps down. And they're coming off turn 2, and Newman just cuts right in front of Kyle Busch. Just right in front of him. Like, it wasn't like a block and he was like a car length ahead. Just right on his nose. Cut his nose off. Newman stayed 1 lap down. I know people are like, okay, well, they're in the race too. But, dude, if the leader gets to you, like, get out of the way, man. Don't go up and block like that. I mean, that's ridiculous. I get it if you're like 3 or 4 car lengths ahead still, and you're like taking their line away. Maybe you're running the same line as them. But like, if they're right there, like, don't just cut their nose off. Come on. Imagine that Kyle wrecked. That would have been the story of the race, is Ryan Newman blocked Kyle Busch and caused him to wreck. But luckily, it did not happen. Kyle Busch had a 6-second lead at the end of that stage. Your top 10 here was Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano. 3 of the 4 Penske cars in the top 4. Eric Almirola, 5th. And then 6th through 10th was Harvick, Jones, Kurt Busch, Hamlin, Chase Elliott. So like I said, Busch was leading by 6 seconds. Big improvements here by Keselowski and Elliott. Keselowski was like 16th or 17th in that first stage, I think. And he was just not showing a lot of speed, and he made some drastic improvements to get up there, as well as Chase Elliott. He was really nowhere to be found in that first stage, so ended up finishing 10th. And Truex Jr., as I mentioned, he had a fast car, but he was struggling after that damage at the end of stage 1. Kyle Busch gets off first at the end of stage 2, but too fast exiting. Looking like deja vu here at this point, but that would change. Final stage. Front row is Keselowski and Kevin Harvick. Brad Keselowski jumps out front. Kevin Harvick second. Chase Elliott third. Keselowski extends his lead to 2.8 seconds with 60 laps to go. And at 47 to go, the Penske cars were running 1, 2, 3. 38 laps to go. Bubba Wallace, his bad day continues. A flat left front tire brought out the caution. And some cars, including the leader Keselowski, made green flag stops before this, so the field was really shuffled up. And Kyle Busch was actually out front at this point. He stayed out and hoped for a caution, and he got it. So Busch and some of the other front runners pit, and that would leave Ryan Blaney and Kyle Busch the front row for the restart. And Keselowski would pass Kyle Busch for the lead with 31 to go. They would go right by Ryan Blaney. I think he tried to stay out and pull some strategy. Didn't work. I'm referring to Ryan Blaney. Logano and Keselowski would battle hard for the lead. 2 teammates, they battled very hard. Like, they were side drafting. Logano was all the way to the bottom of the track. Keselowski was right there at his door. They were racing really hard. And Logano would get it with 27 laps to go. But as this race would show us on numerous occasions, when these 2 cars get side by side, if there's a third car back there, they're going to have a huge run of momentum and get by them, because it slows those 2 cars down when they get side by side. And that would be the case here. Kyle Busch, huge run of momentum from third place. Drove by both Penske cars in turn 1 for the lead with 26 laps to go. No cautions all the way to the finish. Kyle Busch held a 2.5 second lead gap to win at Auto Club Speedway back-to-back in the Cup Series. Came back from a speeding penalty. And I believe Fox actually said that was the first time he had a speeding penalty and won the race. I am not definite on that, because I didn't exactly hear what they said, but it sounded like that's what they said. So that's actually hard to believe, but his 53rd career Cup victory. And yes, the 200th win for Kyle Busch across all 3 NASCAR's top major divisions. Truck 53, Cup 53, Xfinity 94. Yeah, history-making race for Kyle Busch. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people thought this race was really boring. I thought it was all right. I didn't think it was the most entertaining race in the world. Like I said, I think I would probably rank it the worst of the year, but like, it wasn't like, oh my god, this is the worst race ever. I just thought, it was okay. There was good racing in this race, and it was a history-making race, too. So, hey, what can you say? But Kyle Busch wins at California. Let's take a look here at the race results. Of course, let's see, top 10. Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, Kevin Harvick, Ryan Blaney. All 3 Penske cars in the top 5. That shows you how good Team Penske is this year. Kurt Busch, a strong run in 6th place. Fox actually referred to him as the strongest running Chevy this year, and I would have to agree with that. 6th place for Kurt. Then we have Denny Hamlin. Martin Truex Jr. fought back for an 8th place finish. He said over the radio after that incident, he said, we had the best car. We had the fastest car. Stenhouse Jr. ruined it. Well, Eric Almirola 9th. Austin Dillon. Richard Childress Racing, their first top 10 of 2019. I'd been harping on that for the past few weeks that they haven't even had a top 15. Austin Dillon fights back from a flat tire, fights back from feeling sick, gets top 10. We have Chase Elliott, 11th. Kyle Larson, 12th. Daniel Suarez, 13th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 14th. William Byron, 15th. Chris Buescher, 16th. Jimmy Johnson, 17th. Matt DiBenedetto, 18th. Eric Jones, 19th. Paul Menard, 20th. Very surprised. We have not seen a lot out of Paul Menard this year. And after that big race at the Clash that Paul Menard had, I think people expected a little bit more out of him, but he is struggling to find speed right now, especially the fact that, Penske's running so good. That's surprising, but Alex Bowman, 21st. So, yeah, there are your 400 cars. Chase, 11th. William, 15th. Jimmy, 17th. Alex, 21st. I expected Chase to get a top 10. 11th, close enough. William Byron, right around where I thought he would be. I thought he was actually going to be a little bit better. Same with Jimmy Johnson. I thought Jimmy was going to be like 14th. And, man, I don't know what it is. I mean, Jimmy was running good in the beginning of the race, but whatever it is, he cannot put a full race together. He runs good at the beginning of the race, and then something kind of happens, and he just kind of fades off. And he's not finishing poorly, but, that's 17th. I don't think that's the best Jimmy could have done. I think he could have gotten 12th or 13th, but yeah, and Alex Bowman, 21st. I was surprised he's not in the top 20, but I guess like Chase, kind of close enough. I thought he'd be like 18th, but there you go. We have 22nd through 30th here. Ryan Newman, Ryan Preece, Michael McDowell, David Reagan, Matt Tifft, Ty Dillon, Ross Chastain, Landon Castle, Darrell Wallace Jr. 31st through 38th. Just rounding out the field, Corey LaJoie, Cody Ware, Daniel Hemrick, Reed Sorensen, Joey Gase, Garrett Smithley, BJ McLeod. 38th, Clint Bowyer. And that was my prediction for this race. I thought Clint Bowyer was going to win. I said that on Wednesday, but yeah, Clint went to the garage. They actually, I don't know if Fox showed it or not, but I think they may have just mentioned, Clint Bowyer is now behind the wall, but he had some sort of mechanical issue. I don't know exactly what was going on. He said he was struggling to find straightaway speed. I think they changed a spark plug or something. So yeah, he was having a mechanical mess. But yeah, I predicted him to win. I thought he was going to be fast. He's good on those bigger tracks. He won Michigan last year, but that was not the case. So, tough break for Clint, but I guess that's how it goes sometimes. Well, that is the California weekend. And coming up, we have Martinsville Speedway. We have trucks on Saturday, and then the Cup race on Sunday. I will be there. I will be there live at the Cup race. So next week, I'm going to be watching the truck race on TV, and then I'm going to be at the Cup race. I'm not going to the trucks, but I'll be there at the Cup race, and I'll be able to give you my live perspective on what happened. And I'll be back on Wednesday to preview the Martinsville weekend. That is all. Everybody have a great day.